Now on Central Illinois News Day, the balance of power on Capitol Hill, where Republicans are clinging to the majority and where Democrats hope to retain control. Then Bloomington's mayor writing the governor what message he hopes to portray in light of the new COVID-19 mitigations. Also getting into the holiday spirit when you can shop this holiday weekend in Chillicothe and Lakin while staying loyal to local. And election day is over, but the presidential race still very much in full swing. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on CI News Day. I'm Rebecca Brumfield. The race is tight. Both Joe Biden and President Trump inching towards the finishing line as more states are being called. Local voters saying they're anxious to know who's going to take top office. President Donald Trump's vote surged on election night, but it's the mailed-in ballots trickling in that could flip states at any moment. Some voters calling it stressful, hoping a winner is called soon. One local voter saying Americans should support the elected commander-in-chief regardless of your beliefs.
As a country, we need to get behind whoever our president is and put a lot of this indifference behind us and move on as a country.
Right now, Joe Biden is in the lead with 248 electoral votes, while President Donald Trump lags behind with 214. And now to our local races. Illinois' U.S. Senator Dick Durbin will remain in office. The Democrat has been part of Capitol Hill since 1996. The senior senator defended the Affordable Care Act, introduced the DREAM Act, and has worked alongside Republicans to pass criminal justice reform. Last night, he thanked his downstate supporters.
I believe that the future of downstate is strong, with a strong agricultural economy at the core of it. But I think there's opportunities in manufacturing and new technology we need to take advantage of.
On the national stage, Durbin serves as Democratic whip, the second-ranking Democrat in the Senate. Voters in 32 states weighed in on 120 ballot measures at the polls covering issues from minimum wage to pit bulls and drugs. Dania Backus breaks it down for us.
Expect more marijuana dispensaries to start opening up around the country in 2021. Voters in New Jersey, Arizona, South Dakota, and Montana approved measures legalizing recreational marijuana for adults 21 and older. Medical marijuana won approval in Mississippi.
Might help the economy as far as bringing another industry to the state of Mississippi.
On Tuesday, Oregon became the first state to decriminalize possession of small amounts of hard drugs like cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. Voters there also made it legal for people in therapy sessions to use the psychedelic drug and mushrooms. Florida minimum wage workers who fought for more money are getting it. The Sunshine State will gradually increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2026. Rideshare drivers for companies like Uber and Lyft did not get what they wanted in California. Voters rejected the state's initiative to make drivers employees who receive benefits instead of independent contractors. Uber and Lyft spent $200 million to defeat the initiative, the most expensive effort in state history. The companies threatened to leave California if the measure passed. Anti-abortion amendments were on the ballots in 2 states. Louisiana voters passed a measure asserting there is no state constitutional right to abortion. In Colorado, voters defeated a measure to prevent abortions after 22 weeks unless the woman's life is endangered. In Mississippi, voters decided on a new flag with a magnolia design that replaces their old flag with the Confederate battle emblem. And in Denver, you can legally own a pit bull now. Pit bulls have been outlawed since 1989 in that city following a high-profile attack on a 3-year-old. Dania Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And back here at home, 59% of voters agree that West Peoria Township should cease to exist. That breakdown, 59% yes, 41% no. It's important to point out that this does not affect the actual city of West Peoria, just the township. In another referendum, Bartonville will soon have paid fire crews stationed at the firehouse ready to respond to calls. 70% of people living in the area are in favor of the idea, 30% voting no. In Germantown Hills, residents there voting down a proposal. It asked if the village would be able to permit and regulate an adult-use cannabis dispensary. And in McLean County, 59% of voters agree Downs should have a 1% sales tax increase. That money would go toward infrastructure improvements. And with 98% of precincts reporting, or 99 rather, Illinoisans voting to reject an amendment to the state's constitutional requirement of a flat tax rate. It was the first question on the ballot. For individuals, the state's current flat tax is 4.95%. It's been a part of the Constitution since 1969. For the latest election results on all of our central Illinois races, head online to ciproud.com. Well, Republicans are clinging to a majority in the Senate, but several races still hang in the balance across the country. Democrats are down a narrow path to retain control of the House, but falling short of the party's goals to grow its majority. CBS's Bafta Imam is on Capitol Hill.
It's a waiting game for the Democratic Party looking to wrestle control of the Senate chamber from Republicans. By early Wednesday, CBS News had projected one new seat for the party, with Colorado Democrat John Hickenlooper defeating incumbent Republican Cory Gardner. But that gain was offset by Doug Jones's projected loss to Republican Tommy Tuberville in Alabama. Democrats are eyeing Arizona, where it looks like Mark Kelly could pick up a seat from Martha McSally.
Thank you, South Carolina.
Top Republicans Lindsey Graham and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell both survived challenges from well-funded Democrats.
Tonight, Kentucky said we're keeping our front row seat in the Senate.
The races remain a toss-up in Maine, North Carolina, Georgia, and Michigan. Democrats had high hopes of flipping some traditionally red states, but fell short in Iowa, Texas, and Montana. CBS News has not made a projection on the House majority, but Democrats have fallen short of their goals.
The House predictions going in are a prime example of what I would call this irrational exuberance.
QAnon supporter Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene is projected to win her Georgia district. The president's former physician Ronnie Jackson took a House GOP seat in Texas, and freshman incumbent Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez retains her New York seat. Bafta Imam, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And still to come, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention launching a new campaign around maternal mortality. Why health officials are trying to help mothers survive. But before we go, we're turning now to a CBS News special report.
Back on the air at this hour with some breaking news in the presidential election. CBS News can now project that Joe Biden has won the state of Michigan.